Hi, welcome New Hope Kids volunteers. This is our fall 2021 training as we kick off and get going for a new season in the Kids Wing. Some things that we have starting up. We are continuing with our elementary class that is 1st to 5th grade this season. We are restarting our pre-K class that is 3 years old through kindergarten. And the gospel project, the curriculum that we have been using, we are continuing to use. It is starting a new volume and it is starting in Genesis 1 this Sunday. So there's a lot of new. I want to hopefully pretty quickly bring you up to speed with what's happening. Some of you have been helping out already this summer as we've kind of slowly gotten things going again. And some of you have not been in the Kids Wing since everything shut down in March of 2020. So there's I'm just want to bring everybody up to speed and remind you of some really key important things as we get going again. So here is what our rooms look like right now. The poster is new in the elementary room. We are going through a new cycle. So you'll see we have this new, they call this the story circle timeline. So it has every single lesson starting here at the top. All of the lessons that we will be doing in the next 3 years. Every 3 years we go all the way from Genesis to Revelation, and then it starts over again. So we are starting over again in Genesis. The lessons are a little bit different. They feature different stories as we go through in each cycle. But yeah, you can see all of them on this new timeline. I'm super excited that this is up. The graphics for this new unit, I think they look great. So you'll see that when you go into the kids' classroom. Some other things that you will see in our elementary room is, yes, this big circle has this little marker on it. It has masking tape on the back of it, so it is movable. So you can move this week's story, you can move it up one spot every week as we go. You'll see right here is the writing, that's one lesson right there. This is a lesson right here. This is a lesson. This is a lesson. So as we go, just move that up a week each week, or up a spot each week as we go, to help the kids track in this big story of the entire Bible. It helps them track where we are at in that bigger story. We also have those little markers on the maps that are on the wall. So those little markers can help them to see, again, where it is that we're at, where in the world we are at. It looks like in this volume, more of the lessons reference a world map. Also, I'm going to be adding that to that wall as well, a full world map. So you'll be able to use those markers on there too. That will be going up this week. This is what the pre-K room looks like right now. As you can see, we have an open area where you'll be able to do the lesson time. I have spots, literal circles, colored circles that we will be sticking on the carpet to help the kids know their space and where they need to be in that big area, and help them with spreading out some. So we have those spots that'll be able to go on the floor there, and then you have a table area as well. The table will be cleaned off before Sunday. We're getting there slowly but surely. You have these posters up on the wall. There's the key passage poster that has the verse that stays the same for every unit, all unit, and then there's a new one for the next unit. There's a question and answer, kind of, if you're familiar with catechism, it's like foundational questions that we really want kids to know the answers to. So we teach them question and teach them the answer to it, to teach them God's truth that way, and just be able to reinforce those lessons a little bit more. So that's what that poster is there. It's question answer. That stays the same for a unit as well. So it's usually 3 to 6 lessons. That stays the same. Then you also have the picture that goes along with that week's lesson. That changes every week. Right now, all of the posters, both in pre-K and elementary rooms, this is true in both your rooms, all of the posters through November are in those frames right now. So when you get in there to do your lesson for the week, you just have to pull out, last week's poster would be in the very front. If that's still there, just pull it out, and then yours will be the next one that's in there. So yeah, that's what it looks like in the pre-K room. Supplies in the pre-K room, we are going to have the kids' individual totes of supplies, like pencil box or shoe box of some sort, kind of a tote with their own crayons and scissors and things like that. We're going to keep those on this shelf right here where the kids can access them. Teacher supplies are in these drawers over here. And then there's also these shelves up top where we have some more teacher supplies. So we've got like trays if you're doing messy crafts, those trays can help catch the mess. We've got cleaning supplies. We've got some of the toys that you need in different lessons are up there. Hopefully in time, we'll be able to get the rest of this stuff down here cleared out so it's not in the way and not causing a problem with your kids. In the elementary room, there are the kids' individual supplies are in these totes on the shelf over here. Names are on the totes. And in the pre-K room too, we'll be putting the names on those little shoe boxes of supplies. The idea being the kids aren't sharing supplies, then they can use their same supplies week to week. So we don't have to worry as much about cleaning all of the individual supplies from week to week. So in the elementary room, kids' supplies are right there. Other supplies like paper, scissors, glue, other things that if it's not in the kids' individual bin, there's a closet in the elementary room that has some of those extra supplies in it there. And the pre-K room, you've also got access to those supplies. You'll notice in your lesson, now it includes a page that says gather supplies. It just gives you a heads up of all the different supplies you could need for the lesson that week. It'll talk about what activity pages there are. You've also got, they still give you the choice of activities for the time, like it'll say activity option 1, activity option 2. You can pick which one you do. One of them is always low prep and uses really common supplies. It's probably using the stuff that we already have in the classroom. And the other one might call on supplies that are things that you might have around your house and could bring along if you're going to do that activity. But we probably don't have them around. You can always ask and I can let you know if it's something that we have or let you know if it's something that I happen to have around my house and can bring in for you guys to use. Feel free to ask and we'll provide it if we can. But a lot of times it's going to be stuff that you have around. I know in the first pre-K lesson, it's like a blanket and a stuffed animal. If you don't have that in your house, I definitely have a blanket and stuffed animal in my house and you could ask me and I would be happy to bring it in for you. These supplies that are listed up top here, Bible, pens, pencils, markers, crayons, colored pencils, scissors, glue, tape, paper. These are the supplies that we do stock in the classroom for you guys. We will always have those supplies there for you. If they start to run low in your classroom, give us a heads up and we will make sure that we get more of those supplies in there for you. But those are the supplies we're definitely going to have. Some of the other supplies that it mentions, things that it calls out on this list is things like the videos. You have those. We're going to have them on the computers for you. The timeline, the map, things like that. It just mentions every possible supply that's used throughout the lesson. In terms of kids, this summer we've had some weeks, about once a month, we have had no kids. And we've had as many as I think 4 or 5 kids on any given week. It's just fluctuated. People are in vacation mode over the summer and we have some families that haven't come back yet on a weekly basis. So hopefully we continue to build up, but we want to have this class there and available so that when the kids do come, we have the classes for them and can continue to pour into them and lay a foundation of truth for them when they're there. Our curriculum, since they started a new volume, it looks a little bit different, but really it is very much the same. Sorry, just looking down at my notes here. The formatting is cleaned up a little bit, but you're going to find a lot of the same content throughout it. We follow the curriculum start to finish. Now we are keeping the kids in the classroom the whole time. We don't take them into the service like we used to. So that means we're following the curriculum from start to finish. They have a worship song in there. It used to be that we skipped those worship songs. Now we're doing them because we have a little bit more time since we're in the classroom the whole time. So let me show you a little bit more of what this curriculum looks like now. It starts with an intro page that looks like this, that shows just big idea what the lesson is about. Next page is always a leader Bible study. This gives you some really great pointers about the lesson that week, such as on this one, it gives you a heads up that no, we didn't mess up when we stopped at day 6 of creation and didn't talk about people being created, because we're doing that in next week's lesson. So no, it wasn't a mistake. They did that on purpose. So if you're teaching this first week, you'll notice that. What about the people? It's week 2 that we're going to be talking about that. We've got our welcoming activities. Here you can see how they give you 2 options of activities where you can pick one to do. And one of them is always has the symbol that it's low prep, which is usually pretty easy to pull off without doing a whole lot of preparation ahead of time, which can be nice sometimes. And this takes you through how the lesson works. We've got intro, big picture question, timeline review, and then we get to the Bible story. So it says learn the Bible study. This is not, you don't have to teach the Bible study yourself. We have a video for this part, like it says, boom, right there. Tell the Bible story, and you can use the video to do that. So that's where you're going to play the video lesson. There's usually 2 or 3 videos incorporated every week in the lesson. I have all of those on the computer that's going to be in the room, so it can play on the TV that's in there. We've got the cable to hook it up now. So if you look on the computer, I have it sorted by unit and session. So right here, this folder, unit 1, session 1, if you open that up, that's got all 3 videos for the week. It's got your Bible story video, it's got the questions from kids video, and it's got the missions moment video all in that folder. Every week does not have a missions video. Sometimes you're just going to have 2 videos in that folder. We also have the worship song, and instead of putting that in the folder, since it's used every week, I kept it right up on top of unit 1. So this column here, this is all unit 1, week 1, week 2, week 3. Your videos for the week are inside the folder, and then the song is right up here on the top. Unit 2, all right here. Unit 3 is in this last row over here. So all the curriculum is laid out there. It should be pretty simple to access. If you have any problems with it, please let us know so we can help troubleshoot and make sure that it's working. PreK Room, I'm hoping to get set up very similarly. I don't have it quite set up yet, but hopefully we will get there, and we'll have all that stuff. Hopefully very simple, straightforward, able to play the videos for you guys as well. COVID, unfortunately, is still a thing that we have to be mindful of. I'm going to be putting this poster up in the classrooms. It just says, in this class, we wear masks, we're mindful of our space, and we keep each other safe. That is the heart of these precautions. We want to keep everyone safe so that we can continue doing these classes, so that we can continue to be together and pour into these kids. So we're continuing at this point to do universal masking from check-in to check-out. We'll continue to revisit this policy as things change, and we all know things have changed and changed and changed again throughout this pandemic. But right now, this is the policy. We're doing masks, check-in to check-out. Sometimes our masks start to slip down as we're talking or as we're moving around. Just remind the kids, nose and mouth. That's a great cue, just those words, nose and mouth. Hey, Lydia, nose and mouth. Hey, Marshall, nose and mouth. And that can be a reminder of them, oh, I need to slip my mask back up to cover my nose and mouth. It's a positive way of saying it and just reminding them. Please be proactive with reminding them that. We really want to honor this policy. It's important for keeping everyone safe at this time. And because of our masking policy, and we're doing masks from check-in to check-out, we are not doing any snacks, food, drink in the classes at this time. I know that's a big bummer for the pre-K class. You guys have a snack written right into your curriculum. Unfortunately, that's just not something that we can safely do right now. So even though it says snack and talk after the Bible story, where you're supposed to eat a snack and talk through questions about the lesson, we're going to forego the snack at that point and just do the talk part. Sometimes there's snacks incorporated in other activities for the pre-K class. And again, we're just not doing snacks right now at this time. When that changes in the future, and it will change at some point in the future, we will let you know, we'll let everybody know, but for right now, masks, check in to check out, remind the kids, just do your part, help keep us all safe so that we can keep going with doing these classes every week. We really want everybody to be able to stay there, stay healthy. That is our goal. Other precautions you are welcome to take. You are welcome to crack the windows open in the classrooms. There aren't screens, so you might get a bug or two in that way. But for the most part, it doesn't seem to be an issue when you crack the window open. Just make sure if you do that, that you close it again at the end of class. Take a minute to wipe down the tables at the end of class or spray them. We have either option. We have the wipes or the spray. Either one is fine with me. Just take a minute to do that. And that just helps keep the germs to the minimum and helps keep us functioning. In the pre-K room, you could also take a minute and just, if there was a toy that got a lot of play that day, just spray that down too. And that would really help us out. Just because we are masking and we are social distancing right now doesn't mean that we don't want to discourage the kids or make them feel like, I don't know, some people can just be kind of extra reserved because they're not sure how to connect. So I thought this was a great reminder of there are still ways that we can connect and be friendly with each other and greet each other and be warm towards each other without actually touching each other. So even if we're not physically hugging each other right now, we can still be giving waves. We can still tap toes instead of shaking hands, or we can still give air high fives. You could be goofy and do a bow with your kids when they come in to greet them. Be creative, do some way to greet the kids, connect with the kids, and have fun with them as they come in. Whatever suits you, come up with something that can be a great connection point with them, even through this time where we have to be a little bit more careful. There's still fun ways to connect. We are handing out these cards at check-in. So one of the things that I love about Gospel Project is their connection for families at home. They do such an excellent job of equipping families in really simple, tangible ways to continue the conversation at home. So one of the ways that we are extending this volume is we have these fridge magnets that we're sending home with families. And then they get miniatures of the posters. I have clips that I still have to put on these magnets yet that are gonna hold those mini posters in place. But they get to have the key passage poster. They get to have the big picture question and answer poster. And then they get their, I think it's called the big picture card, which is a little card that just gives a little synopsis of the lesson and the picture from the lesson that day. So they have a place to put those at home and keep them and display them and practice them and hopefully learn them, and they can help bring it into family conversation at home too. So we are going to be giving those to the parents at check-in because we do check out a little bit differently right now. It's just simpler, I think, right now at this point, if we give them those take-home papers when they're checking in. So the kids still have their activity page in class. Make sure you send that activity page with them at the end too, so that they can take that home, and that helps continue the conversation as well, and helps connect the parents with knowing what their kids are learning when they're in the classroom. And it gives them some prompts of what to talk about on that big picture card, questions that they could ask. It gives the Christ connection. It really equips families in huge ways to be able to continue to pour into their kids and build these lessons throughout the week at home. And that makes a huge difference for our kids in really connecting and learning these things. So yeah, you can remind the kids that they have these and just encourage them to be learning their memory verses because they have them at home too. So really encourage them in that. I am planning on, in the email that I'm sending this video to you, also sending the policy and procedures to you. I've updated them for now, for how we're doing things now. So make sure you take a read through those. I know even for me, even though I've been doing the Kids Wing at New Hope for quite a few years now, it's really important for me to read through those policy and procedures a couple times a year. And so I am asking you today, after you watch this video, to take time and read through that policy and procedure sheet yourself too. There's just things that we forget over time of the way that we do things, and we do things certain ways on purpose because we want to keep kids safe. And we want them to have a safe place to come where they feel safe, feel loved, and can really learn God's truth while they're here. So some policies that I wanted to remind you of while I have you here in particular is we aim, when it's your week to volunteer, please aim to get there at 10. That gives you time to gather whatever supplies you need, gives you time to make sure your tech is working. If you have questions for us, that gives us time to help you troubleshoot any of those questions and solve any problems that could arise. Kids can trickle in anytime. Usually it's closer to 10:15, 10:30 when kids are trickling in. But as they come in, that's when you can do the welcome time, and activity page is usually right there in the beginning of your lesson. That's a great time to do those, and then aim for that session starter activity right around 10:30, same time that the sermon or the music is starting in the main auditorium. So that's what we want to aim for. I know sometimes kids aren't quite there at 10:30, and so you're going to need to start a little later than that, and that's okay. Just that's what we're working towards. I really want to emphasize every time that I have you guys together, 2-adult rule. We have this rule that we have 2 adults, 2 unrelated adults in every classroom. This is a super important one. It discourages any would-be predators from trying to pull anything within our 4 walls. It just makes it a place where it's really difficult for anybody with ill intent to harm our kids to be able to, because we always have a second adult there who's not related to them. It makes it really tricky. Unfortunately, churches are targets of different predators, and this is a policy that we have there that makes us not an easy place to target. We also have that rule for your protection. If ever a child were to make an accusation about something that happened in the classroom, having a second adult there helps us to know what happens and helps to be able to protect you guys too. So please help us by making sure that we're abiding by that 2-adult rule. Yeah, that is an important one to us. Just a quick reminder too, we expect our preschoolers in that classroom to be potty trained before they're in that class. So they should be able to use the restrooms independently. That's what we expect in there. If that is an issue, that's something that we're working out with their parents to come up with an alternative plan for them. But as far as you need to know, and on a general basis, kids should be independent with using the restrooms. Now, sometimes at that age, they still need help with buttoning their pants or washing their hands. I'm not at all saying that you can't do those things. It's absolutely fine to help kids out with that. Just when you are lending a hand in any of those ways, again, because we always have 2 adults present, I don't want you to close the door and be in the restroom just with a kid. That would be breaking our policy. Keep that door open, and you can be there in the doorway, helping them out with washing their hands or coaching them through that. Or leaning down and helping them with a button that's being pesky or something like that. But you're doing that with the door open so that we are not breaking that 2-adult rule. So please take time, read through the rest of the policies. There's some important stuff in there. I want to make sure that everybody's just on the same page, abiding by those things. We want to try and be consistent week to week, no matter who's serving, that we have the same basic policies that we're following. And things on like discipline and stuff like that, that is in the policy and procedures too. So take a look through that. If you have any questions, always feel free to reach out. I am here. I am reachable on my phone, by email, get in touch. I'm in the hallway 2 times a month. So if you happen to be there on the same week as me, we can have a conversation then too. But yeah, if you have any questions about any of those things, please, I'm here to have a conversation about it and help make sure we're all on the same page and that we're all able to abide by those things. Our schedule moving forward, I included this in the email too. I included the schedule and I included a second page that I'm not putting on the screen for confidentiality's sake, but I have all of your contact information so that if there's somebody, if you need to swap weeks with somebody, if you're a teacher and you need to miss your teaching week, you can contact another one of the teachers. You know, if you're elementary teacher, contact another elementary teacher, say, hey, can you switch weeks with me? If you are an assistant, you can contact another elementary assistant, ask that same question. Pre-K, same thing goes for you. If you're a teacher, contact a teacher on another week to be able to switch weeks with them, or assistant, contact an assistant from another week and you'd be able to switch weeks with them. So as best as you can, when you need to swap, please try to work that out with each other. And then just let me know so that I'm reminding the right people of their weeks or getting lessons to the right people. But yeah, that second page will give you all the contact information of everybody who's serving in our kids wing right now. Our general schedule, A, B, C, D, this gives who's serving in each role each of those weeks up at the top there. We also have a couple of substitutes who can help fill in too. Tracy has been awesome with filling in and teaching with our elementary class. TC is somebody who's already jumping in to help on pre-K assistant on one of the weeks. So we have some extra people too who are ready to jump in and lend a hand to make this work. So yeah, take a look at that schedule and make sure you know your weeks. I send out reminder email every week too, but just go through, mark your calendar for your weeks so that you can plan ahead if you have any conflicts and switch around with people if you need to. And yeah, I think that's everything for tonight or today, whenever you're watching this. Thank you so much for taking the time and going through this with us. I'm really excited that we can get back into the hallway. I'm excited that there's a way that we can do this safely, that we can have the kids together. So yeah, thank you for taking the time and getting up to speed with everything that we're doing. Again, if you have any questions or concerns, feel free to reach out. My number is in that contact information. My email address is in there. You're getting this email from me, so you have my email address. But yeah, reach out if you need anything. I'm here. Thank you so much for serving our kids and everything that you do to love on them and encourage them and help them learn God's word. It's so important what we're teaching them, who God is, who he created them to be, and just giving them such a strong foundation of knowing the scripture and seeing how all throughout scripture is all one big story that weaves together that points to him, points to his goodness, points to the hope that he gives us, even when the world feels crazy. He is there. That hope is sure. So thank you for being a part of teaching that to our kids and helping them to grasp through all these lessons, that truth and making those connections. So yeah, thank you for taking the time. Have a great night and reach out if you need anything. Bye.